How's everybody doing? Everybody can hear me?
Yes.
All right, my name is Jose. As Mr. West knows, they call me Weddle. In Spanish, that means white boy. So that was my name. As far as like everybody else that know me around. So a little bit about my story is that I first met Mr. West when he was teaching my uncle at a basketball game. So I was probably like in second grade. He told him, give him the ball, go do a layup. I didn't even know what a layup was. Never played basketball or nothing. I know I missed every layup I did, but he was like, we're gonna work with you. Ever since then, I've been sticking to it. You know, I didn't have a father growing up. My dad, he passed away in 2013, but back then he wasn't around. So Mr. West, leading into third grade, I think it was my brother and my brother's other friend. He told me, he's like, man, bring your brother to practice. I went to practice. I was the shortest guy on the team, but I was also the fastest one too. Mr. West taught me, don't be scared. Drive in the paint. If you get knocked down, you better get up. Every single time I'll get knocked down, I'll always get back up. And then I know there was one point where he had to talk to my mother, and he was all like, I want to work with both of your sons at 6 a.m. and then after school too. So just by him letting her know that, taking his time out of his day, especially being that early in the morning, I knew that he cared. I knew it was like, why would this man who was in, I believe, your early 20s, like, why would you want to take that time out? You could be doing something else, but you want to wake up to take two kids who aren't even your kids, to teach them how to do fundamentals, teach them how to dribble, teach them how to play, like certain things like that. Also, not only about basketball, but teach me about, like, I could go to him whenever I need him. Him knowing that my father wasn't around, you know, it was a blessing. And stuck with basketball from second to fourth grade. Like we never had a break. He put us in a lot of programs from the winter to the fall to summer. We were always playing. Always kept us busy. Never gave us any off season. He did whatever he could for all of us, especially Robert, Edwin, for all of us to stay active as far as basketball. He had us in football. He had us in tennis. Man, he had us in almost every sport that he could think of, just to keep us active. A couple of my friends, like, they were in the streets, they were gangbanging at an early age, third, fourth grade. And, you know, there was only so much he could do, where I know he didn't want that for all of us. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, some kids are just ain't gonna listen, you know? I'm being very organic with you guys up here. I'm being real. It's just how it is. So I remember one special moment. My brother, Julian, he was like one of the best ones on the basketball team. And he used to always hit like a lot of the game-winning shots. And I remember one time, it was it St. Agnes? Yep. I hit, we were down by 1 point. It was like 4 seconds left, and I hit the game-winning shot. Man, the first one to run up to me and hug me and hold me tight, say he was proud of me, it was Mr. West. Wouldn't let go, just kept squeezing the life out of me. And back then, I was only like probably 4 feet, 4'1" in third grade. You know, but he taught me a lot of valuable lessons. You know, he taught me how to be a man. I remember we'll be in this Corvette. You got a Corvette, right? Camaro. The Camaro, the green one. It'll be like 10 of us in there. 10 of us. And then he'll play the same Tupac tape he had. Recorded over and over. You tell him flip it over. You think it's something else, and it's all Tupac music. Same thing over and over. You know, we'll goof around. He'll be serious, but when it was time to do good in school, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that we weren't acting up, to stay like on our basketball. If you were late, you were doing suicides all day. You were running up the bleachers. He didn't care if you were crying, if you were hurting. You're gonna do whatever he tells you to do. Wow. At certain times, I thought he was being too rough on me. With my brother, he talked to him more. With me, it was more like pushing me around. But he did that just to toughen me up. There were times when we had a social center, and it was probably like 90 degrees. It was hot, playing outside. He brought a few of his buddies to play with us, and they were just throwing all of us around to the ground, getting us ready, getting us rough and prepared. So I remember one day he kept just, he was trying to box me, I was trying to box him out, and he just kept throwing me to the ground. And I'm not gonna lie, at that age, like, I had a lot of anger in me. I was pissed off. I was calling him every name in the book. You know what I'm saying? He kept knocking me to the floor, but I realized he was only doing it to toughen me up. And, you know, I'll always be appreciative of you. You always, and I know I always told you this, you've always been more than a mentor. You've been like a father figure to me. You know, you were there for me for a lot. You came to my mother's apartment plenty of times to talk to us, to making sure we were good with our grades. And I remember one time I did a lot of thinking, and we lost one of our friends named Enrique. I think like in 1998, 97. I got his name right here tattooed on me. It was my first friend that I ever lost. And I was telling Robert and Edwin, I remember one time, I think it was like 2 weeks before Enrique passed away, I seen Mr. West talking to Enrique on the side, getting him like a man-to-man talk. And I was wondering, I'm like, man, why is this guy always talking to us, you know, like pulling us to the side? And I realized, like, it's because he cares. It'll be different if he was there, like, go play basketball, go have fun, but he was mentally and emotionally there for us too. It wasn't just all about ball. Like, he was trying to tell us right from wrong. And I remember we went to the wake. It was the first wake I ever been to. And I seen him crying, Mr. West. I didn't cry at all. I seen him just bawling his eyes out. And as I got older, I have a good memory. These images, these memories, it made me realize, man, this guy, he cared a lot about us. And then fast forward, my mother, she moved us to Burbank when we were going to 4th grade. And we kept in touch. I played ball still throughout high school. And it was in my sophomore year at high school. I attended Revis. That's when I got involved with selling drugs. So I graduated high school. I always made sure I had good grades. I told my mom, I promise you I'll graduate I'll get a diploma. But I seen a lot of older guys with the things that I wanted, the nice cars, you know, the jewelry, the women. So I stopped playing basketball my sophomore year. I dropped out. And then graduated high school, and I made a few mistakes in my life. And then fast forward after high school, I graduated in 2007. In 2009, I went to prison from 2009 to 2012 for armed robbery. And you know, being in prison, it taught me a lot. You know, a lot of my basketball skills I took what Mr. West taught me in there. You know, I was the only Latino playing ball with the black crowd. I didn't play no other sport. You know, anything that Mr. West taught me, I'll get knocked down in there too, playing rough with the older guys. I was only 20 years old, 110 pounds. So a lot of stuff that he taught me, I took it in there too. There were a lot of moments I did a lot of thinking that I didn't have a father figure in my life. I believe that plays a big role, like especially to you young men out there. Like, and I'm not taking this away from any mothers who play both roles too. You know, hats off to you guys, and the fathers too who play both roles. You know, I know we don't get a lot of credit, but it just shows that to the kids out there who are watching and listening right now, your parents could do whatever they can for you. My mother, she kept a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food on the table, moved us out to the suburbs. And I graduated high school. I just made a mistake, went to mess around with a different crowd, and I ended up in prison. So, you know, there were a lot of times where I know I needed him when I was in there as a father figure, because even when I was in prison, I didn't have that still, you know? So he was the first person, when I got out of prison in January 17, 2012, we had a little get together at my place, and who was the first one there? Mr. West. He was there. And he sat me down. He was like, you know, everything's gonna be all right. Like, We're gonna get you situated. I'm gonna make sure you're cool. Like, what I want to do now, we talked about this a few times. I always wanted to speak. We were talking about going to our old school, to our grammar school, and speaking about the choices that I made and how majority of the championship trophies that are in that school right now is because of us. But also tell the youth, like, I was in your position. I went to the school, I grew up in this neighborhood. You know, I made it out, but then I also made a mistake. You know, but I believe that me going to prison there's a reason for it. I turned a negative into a positive. And, you know, I believe it happened for a reason. But as far as Carlos goes, him being like a father figure to me, I remember when LeBron James had the All-American game in Chicago. Me and my brother, we didn't call him, we didn't ask him. He called us and took us to the game to see LeBron James play. And at that moment, at that time, I even told myself too, like, man, why is this, like why is this guy calling us, you know what I'm saying, to take us to the game? But then it's like, I'm thinking to myself, like, man, he's like a father figure, you know, he wants to be around us. He always told me, my brother, you two are my boys. Like, you guys are my boys all the time. And when he reached out to me to do this, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous, you know, because I don't like talking about my past. I don't like people knowing, like, what I've been through, you know, like a lot of people do know. I like to keep it private. But as what I'm doing right now, I believe prison helped me into being who I am, and I'm a certified personal trainer now.
All right.
So I believe prison, I had a lot of weaknesses in there. You know, I had a high tolerance of being lazy, not wanting to do anything like with my body physically. And that's how my fitness journey started also in prison. I took the tools that I had, that I learned in there, and I took them to the outside world. And, you know, right now, that's what I'm doing as far as, like, career-wise. I'm a personal trainer. And then I know I also would love to, like, do this more often for the youth. Let them know that people make mistakes, you know, it's just how you grow. You know, you got to learn from your mistakes. And also, you got to look at everything like it's a lesson and a blessing. Like, you can't, it's easy to get sidetracked, you know, like to make mistakes, especially like with the black and brown community. Like, I get it. I still have a lot of friends who are still about that life, still doing it. But, you know, that's what they do. That's not what I do. And at these programs, these after-school programs, like, it works. Because I know for a fact, like, if we didn't play ball the whole time through the summer, the fall, the winter, it'll be a different story probably for all three of us right now. You know, he kept us active. He kept us whole. He told all of us what to do, what not to do. And yeah, that's pretty much it, how it all is from start to finish. And, you know, Mr. West, I appreciate you. You know, you've done a lot for me. You taught me you gave me a lot of lessons, how to be a man. You know, you took a lot of time out of your life to show me and all the other guys on the team, even my sister. You had the girls basketball team too. You were always showing them what to do, how to do it, and you showed us how to be winners. You showed us how to keep our head high and be men. And I appreciate you. I got a lot of love for you. You know, you'll always be like a father figure to me. I told you that. And I got your back just the same way you got mine. And I appreciate all you guys listening. Thank you very much.